Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of New York Giants football talk. Training camp week, as you can see by our background there, we are at the training camp facility. Kenny K here, as always, and alongside my good friend and co-host Paul Rosen. How we doing, Paul?
Good, doing well, Kenny. Uh, Great to see you. Hope you had a good weekend. And I can only say we're very excited. Training camp opened up last week for rookies, and tomorrow officially veterans and rookies start. And I'm about as excited as being an HR director for 30 years, but not going to a Coldplay concert.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. Uh, uh, I'm sure there'll be some maybe some Giants memes on it too. So should be interested in the next few days to see what goes on at training camp. But
All right.
I'm excited, and like we're gonna get into our topics for the night. But maybe it's because we were 3-14 last year, and maybe feel like we've had a great draft and brought in some good free agents. But it's the most excited I've been about a Giants team in a few years. So uh, let's go. Let's shock the world this year, and why not with our potential roster and defense that we have and some veterans that we brought in. Why can't we shock the world like the Commanders
Mm-hmm.
did last year and the
Mm-hmm.
Broncos did last year? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, we'll give some people some time to come in, but we got a couple of topics for everybody tonight. We got our first one tonight, Paul. We're gonna do not necessarily training camp battles. We can call it training camp battles, but players or battles we're looking forward to. So, like, there's some names that may be forgotten in the mix, and I'll start to show everybody where I'm going, and I want to see the tight end battle, not tight end one because Theo Johnson, I believe, is locked in there, but I want to see Chris Manhertz is going to be your blocking tight end. I want to see the battle between Daniel Bellinger, Tommy Fedone, and Greg Dulcich. And I want to see Greg Dulcich, who played with Russell Wilson, Paul. That's who I'm intrigued to see in this preseason. Broncos drafted him with a high expectations a couple years
Mm-hmm.
ago, and he's had nothing but injuries. This guy can be healthy. With Russell Wilson, former teammate of his, this might be a guy to watch out for and a sleeper, not only to make this 53-man roster, but maybe be a contributor on this offense this year. So that's the first guy I'm looking forward to, and battle I'm looking forward to is that tight end position that's going to back up Theo Johnson.
Yeah. Listen, we want to see Theo Johnson uh, start off right from the get go. He started a little slow last year, but came on. But unfortunately, he was injured. So I think the Giants have big expectations for him. Manhurst, as you said, would be the blocker. That third or fourth tight end on the roster, it's going to be interesting. They saw a lot of Thomas Fedone, the rookie tight end from Nebraska, the seventh round pick. And I think they really like him. So it may come down to Bellinger against Dolce. And like you said, he was a high pick of Denver. Bellinger, on the other hand, had a great rookie year and then unfortunately got injured. And he just has not been the player that we saw in that first season with the Giants, both receiving and blocking. I mean, he was playing both ways. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out in training camp and then in preseason games. But the Giants are going to take the best players that they hope to build a team with. And like you said, Dolchik is a young player. So he might have a legitimate chance with Russell Wilson being a quarterback to make this giant squad.
Yeah, definitely. Our good friend Ernie Mays, he's a big Bronco fan, but he's always comes in and says hello. He follows
Hey, Ernie.
Rich Bronco's show. He follows us all around. Uh, saying go Broncos. But then he's saying Kenny K, and this is Paul. I don't think I'll ever say this again in my life. Be fourth. He said Kenny K, my fourth greatest podcaster.
Oh,
So Bronco fan, if I'm fourth and doing the Giants show, I'll take that as a very high compliment. And there's
very
one
high compliment. Thank you, Ernie.
fellow Giant fan, Mark Calderia, saying, "Good evening,
Hey,
guys.
Mark.
He is going to training camp this Sunday with his son, Robert. Never
Nice.
went to one. It's gonna love it, Mark. I think you will. Send us some pictures, Mark, and we'll post them next week's show. And
Yeah.
love to hear the experience. And
Enjoy
how your
yourself and your
experience went.
son.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy it, and you know, maybe you can get an autograph or two. Maybe D.O. Johnson will come your way, or Tyrone Tracy, your Big Ten guys. And there's our co-host K and K, our good friend Carson, saying hello as well.
Hey, Carson.
What's up, Carson? Check out my friend Carson. He's got the Carson Shear Show. He does shorts and not just Detroit area, but he talks about all headline sports. So go check out my friend Carson on the Carson Shear Show. Our friend, I should say. And Kurt Valenti, the one and only. Yo, it's bow time,
Mr.
baby.
Valente.
What's up, Kurt? Kurt's busy at work tonight. Keep getting ready for his second vacation. So thanks for chiming in, Kurt.
Wasn't he
Uh,
just on a vacation?
yeah, every year he has the one with his family and myself, and then he has one with his wife's Jen's family a couple weeks later every year.
Nah, I'm
So
busting his
nice, spoiled,
chops.
spoiled rotten. Spoiled rotten, Mr. Valenti. So, all right, Paul. Let's see who you like. Which one who you're interested, a battle you may be interested in, or a player you may be interested in watching come this training camp.
All right. Let's start right up front where, we've had ad nauseum talking about our offensive line. And it starts up front, obviously, with Russ at quarterback, not as mobile and not as nimble as he used to be in the past. So, what we need is our offensive line to stay healthy. And I think there's going to be a big battle at guard this year because the Giants finally decided Evan Neal cannot play outside. He's too slow. But with his size, they think he could play inside at guard. And I think the Giants are going to give him every opportunity to win that left guard position over Greg Van Roten and move John Runyon from left guard to right guard. And I think the key to that would be if Andrew Thomas can stay healthy, you would have Andrew Thomas as a building block right alongside Evan Neal. So I think they're going to give him every opportunity to try and win that job. They're going to see how he plays. Obviously, they can fall back having Van Roten, who played every single game last year. Runyon hurt at the end of the year, but he's a solid offensive lineman, offensive guard. Uh, Obviously, they drafted Marcus Bowe uh, in the fifth round last year. Can play both guard and tackle, but I think they really want to see Neal. Hopefully, can win that. They don't want to give up on him. Obviously, a high number one pick. So that should be a very interesting battle. The other thing I want to mention is they have two other guys, Jake Kubis, who was a undrafted free agent from last year, started a few games at the end of the year and played pretty well. And then they have another guy that they signed as an undrafted free agent, uh, Jason Williams, big guy, played a lot of college football at both guard and tackle. So there's some interest in possibly having him or Kubis if those other guys don't shake out. So we'll see what happens. But Neal, again, is going to be a big story.
Yeah, and Mark's a big Michigan fan, so he might be able to tell us a little bit about Williams, the offensive lineman, the undrafted lineman. So, a couple of comments. Eddie Murphy saying hello. He's busy
Hey,
training,
Eddie.
so he can't stay. Eddie, thanks for stopping in, saying hello. Hope the training goes well. And go back and listen. We're going to do a top who we think our top 10 Giants of 2020 of this upcoming season will be. So go check a little later and see who we got as who can be maybe maybe you like them, maybe you don't. If we forgot anybody, so go back and listen. Always appreciate you, Ed. Roy Osborne also saying hello. What's up, Roy?
Hey,
Good to see
Roy.
you. Wanted to come in and say hi to you guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate you all coming in to say hello. Even if you're not Giant fans, just the hellos mean a lot to us. Uh, Eddie wants to send a link when we're done. Just go back, Eddie. If you can just go type in the K&K Sports Show, it'll be on Facebook. Uh, but I'll try and send you the link if you can't get to it. Uh, I like that, Paul. I like Evan Neal. Uh, if he can win the job, I think that'll benefit the Giants because Greg Van Roten, assuming he'll be the backup, can play multiple positions on the offensive line. And if somebody was to go down for, hopefully just a couple games, he could fill in left guard. He could fill in right guard, which he plays, and he can fill in center as well. So he can play
Hmm.
multiple positions, and I think that's important. If Evan Neal can get the job and just have Van Roten be the backup, I think that'll help everybody, not only on the offensive line, but I think it'll help everybody on the offense if Evan Neal can turn it around. Uh, I got another one, another player I'm looking forward to watching, and I watched some of the Giants pages, and some of the fun little interviews they have, and I'm liking this kid Corey Black, the sixth round pick out of Oklahoma State, the corner. It was a few years ago, not a few, it was a couple years ago. Trey Hawkins came out of nowhere and got the starting job from with Wink Martindale's defense, Old Dominion. Trey Hawkins is still on the team, hasn't found a way to get back into that starting role. Now, I'm not saying I want Corey Black to compete with Trey Banks and obviously Paulson and debut, but I want him to compete with Cordell Flott and take that position maybe from Cordell Flott. I wish all the Giants well, but I just don't think Cordell Flott. I think he's more overrated, and I just every time I see him on the field, I see him getting beat, and I'm hearing that he may be in a battle with my guy Tay Banks. I want Corey Black to be in a battle with Cordell Flott for that backup position. So I want to see Corey Black succeed. I think he could be a good sleeper pick for the Giants.
Hmm.
Not only on special teams, but in this secondary, which I think is going to be very much improved this year. And let's see if he can be a surprise at camp and preseason, and maybe get into some playing time this year. So Corey Black for me, Paul, my next guy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that defensive back number two. Obviously, uh, they brought in a debut as the number one cornerback, and now uh, Banks is sort of relegated, rightfully so, to that number two
Yeah.
cornerback because, needless to say, he had a horrible season. If he doesn't get off to a good start, I can see any of those guys, Trey Hawkins, Cordell Flott, or as you say, Corey Black, who a big defensive back from Oklahoma State, played a lot of college ball. I think he played almost 60 games in in uh, in college football. So he has a lot of experience. He's a big guy, almost 6'1", almost 200 pounds. So he has the size. And I think the Giants are looking at this kid as certainly someone that they can possibly utilize if, in fact, Banks somehow falters and give him a shot at that second position. So, yeah, I think the Giant draft is proving that it wasn't just the Darts and the Carters. There's a lot of other players in this draft that might succeed with the Giants this year.
Yeah. Mark's given us a sleeper name to watch out for. Mackie Page out of Michigan, safety,
Hmm.
6'4", can hit and
Yeah.
cover too. So
Hmm.
Let's keep an eye out for him. Thanks for that, Mark, and we'll
Thanks,
definitely
Mark. I've heard the name.
watch out. Yeah, we'll watch for him for sure. Special teams, back end of the roster. If you can hit and cover, you get that back end of the roster. Safety position's not it's set at the starters, but it's not deep. So it could be a surprise to watch out for. Somebody to keep an eye out for. So I like it, Mark. Paul,
Mhm.
you got another position or player you want to highlight?
Yeah, let's talk about the defensive line. Obviously, spearheaded by Sexy Dexy Lawrence, who I've been reading a lot of stuff like you have, Kenny. And I mean, I think aside for Chris Jones, without a doubt, Dexter is the number one interior defensive lineman in the NFL. But there's other positions on that line that we need to fill. Uh, they drafted a big guy with a lot of potential, Darius Alexander. They've also brought in a couple of other players, Roy Robertson Harris, a veteran defensive lineman. Ledbetter is another defensive lineman they brought in, and don't forget underrated selection that they got in free agency to me, Chauncey Golston, and the kid that came out of nowhere to get a job last year, Elijah Chapman, who surprised everyone and made some really good plays in preseason and actually played pretty well early in the year. So there's a lot of players on the defensive line that could help Dexter, and I'm looking forward to that battle because obviously between some of the rookies, personally, I'd like to see Darius Alexander, who has, I think, the complete package, both uh, stout in the run, but also can go upfield and attack and possibly be a good interior pass rusher. But uh, they need that other player to either uh, play alongside Dexter or give him a blow because obviously he can't play every down in the game.
Yeah, and like Mark's saying, Riley out of Oregon, I think he's been there for 3 years. He needs to step up. So and Davidson's another guy.
Yeah,
There's a lot of guys there fighting for a few spots. So that's a good one, Paul. I
yeah,
would like to see Darius Alexander, if not week 1, but by like week 4, maybe a timetable to take over that starting role next to Dexter and not look
hmm,
back.
yeah,
That would mean we got a heck of a player in the third round, if he's ready that soon, and line up next to Dexter along with Burns and Thibodeau and Carter.
hmm,
That's fearful. That's going to put
yeah,
fear in quarterbacks on the other side. So
yeah,
I'm excited about it, and I can't wait to see it. I love it. Love the battle that's going to be behind those behind Dexter. There's going to be battles, and I like that because that's what we had in Brian Dable's first year was a lot of battles. And what did we do? We got to the wild card that year, and we won a wild card game. And we won a game in the playoffs. So we exceeded expectations, and everybody says tough schedule. I remember that year we beat the Packers, we beat the Ravens, we beat a lot of teams that year we weren't supposed to beat. I'm seeing similarities with this roster. Besides, there's not even Russell Wilson's job isn't secure. If Jackson Dart comes out and goes crazy in preseason, he might be the starter week 1. I am excited that there's going to be battles and nobody's job besides a couple players is safe. And I love it. Absolutely love it. Our good friend Patrick saying
hey,
aloha.
Patrick.
Refills, anyone? Go Broncos. I'll get you. Yeah, Patrick, I'll get you. Paul and I can probably definitely use some refills. As always, thank you, my friend. Uh, Patrick over there, Lion Coffee. I got my. Sorry, Patrick. I did some cleaning in here and I moved the sticker, but best stuff on earth, Patrick. I can't tell you how much I bring coffee to work. Hey, Paul, I just had the chocolate macadamia, and every time I bring it, the nurses and the staff absolutely go crazy and love it, and they can't wait for, they love when I'm there. I work Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. They love when I'm there. I share it with some of the people, and they absolutely love it. And thank you, Patrick, from everybody at my hospital, Calvert Health Systems. Thank you for supplying us with the best stuff on
Mhm.
earth. But great to see you. He's saying go Broncos and Giants in quote in parentheses. So thank you,
Thank you,
Patrick,
Patrick.
once again. Mark saying the NASCAR package 3.0.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
go. Uh, Speaking of three, I got one more, Paul, and I want to talk about the running backs. And I want to see Devin Singletary. He's got a rookie, Cam Scatterbo, and he's got Tyrone Tracy, which he lost his job to last year, and rightfully so. He had some fumbling problems. He had a couple little injuries here and there, but I want to shout out a podcast on YouTube, Chat Sports Giants Now. The guy's name is Marshall Green, and he nailed it when I was watching what he posted the other day. Joe Shane and Brian Dable brought in Devin Singletary because they love Devin Singletary. I'm curious to see where his role fits on this team because there may be a three-headed monster running backs here, and it may be a running back by committee. I'm curious to see, who gets more carries, or if it's going to be a weekly thing, depending on matchups. I'm
Mhm.
curious. So definitely curious to see Devin Singletary in the running back room, but more Devin Singletary because he's the veteran. I want to see what his role is going to be here with the Giants.
Yeah, it's a great point, Kenny. Uh, as a veteran, I think even just being able to mentor a rookie like Scatterboo and only a second year player like Tyrone Tracy is a big advantage. And there'll be a point where the Giants will utilize him, whether it's game by game or at some point maybe somebody gets injured. Not that I want to see our players get injured, but he'll be utilized at some point uh, in positive, constructive ways. If I can just make one other point, we've had Eric Gray
Sure.
on the team the last 2-3 years. There's a kid that they brought in last year as an undrafted free agent. Dante, his nickname is Turbo Miller. And I want to see this kid get an opportunity maybe to make the team this year. He was on the practice squad last year. I think they will carry 4 running backs, and this kid might be the fastest player on the Giants team. So, given the speed, as they always say, you can't teach speed. Given the speed that this kid may have, he might even find a place that the Giants can utilize his speed and the strength for this Giant team in addition to Singletary. So, I think the running back uh, room will be very, very good this year. And I think having a Russell Wilson will be able to utilize it even better.
Yeah. All right. And a couple comments from Mark. I love, you're going to love a couple of these. He's saying about Singletary, he definitely needs to step up. Gray, too. I think Gray could be the odd man out here,
Yeah.
but you never know what happens. There may be maybe an injury in camp. Uh, with Scatterbo, I want him to be mature. And what I mean by that is I don't want him to come in thinking he's Derrick Henry and can run over everybody from day one. This is the NFL. It's going to be a little different. I want you to use your talent because you got talent and you got moves. And I want you to use that instead of just your
Hmm.
power because, I want you to be a mature running back. And but I think he's going to be a successful one. I really do. But Mark's got a couple of names for the threesome. He's like, new name for the running backs: Rain, Thunder, and Lightning. Laughing out loud. And then I like this one too: the three
The three
seasons.
C's,
LOL.
right? No more Earth,
That's
Wind,
good.
and Fire.
Uh, Patrick's got a question. Let's answer this one, Paul. End of the season, last 4 games. Is Russ playing? He wants to know.
Yeah, I know he
That's after our
I know he
bye.
joined us late last show, and we discussed that a little bit about Jackson Dart, and that was my prediction that I thought depending on if the Giants were maybe out of contention for a possible playoff position, that would be about the time frame. Giants have a late season bye this year. I think week 14, the latest they could have a bye, and that might be the time after that bye week that you bring in Jackson Dart to play that last, say, quarter of the season, depending again if the Giants are in the possibility or totally out of it, where they can then utilize Jackson Dart and gauge how he's performing.
I'm going to say he is playing because I want to have high expectations for this Giants team that they're fighting for a wild card by the end of the season. And Russ is a big reason. Not saying he's got to go out and throw 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, Patrick, but if he can give me top 15 numbers, maybe top, 16 numbers for a quarterback each week, I'll take that. I don't need him to be the best anymore. I just need him to be consistent and do enough, assuming our defense is good enough to keep teams in around 20. Let's put up 21 to 24 a
Mm-hmm.
game, and let Russ do what he can do, and be the veteran leader, and show signs of that 10-time Pro Bowler that he was in the
Kenny,
past.
if I could just say one more thing to Jackson Dart, my feeling, you know, people may remember when Kurt Warner started that year, Eli's rookie year. He played, I think, the first 9 games, and then they brought in Eli, and he was horrible. He was terrible. People may forget that. I think they went 0-6 his first 6 games, and then the last game of the year, they beat Dallas, the last game of the year. So the expectations that we may have for Jackson Dart as a rookie, wins and losses aside, I want to see how comfortable he is. I want to see how he looks in terms of understanding what an NFL quarterback has to do. I mean, if you would have looked at Eli's first 6 games, you would have said, "Oh my God, this guy never is going to be a successful player." So the first few games can tell you something, but it's not the whole reason why you want to see him out there in terms of his adjustment from a college quarterback to a professional quarterback.
Yeah, and Patrick, don't apologize. You came on late last night. He's sorry. He repeated the question. No, you don't need to be sorry.
Yeah.
Glad we can answer that for you. Mark is agreeing. He's saying if we're in the hunt for the playoffs, keep Russ in. But if not, go with Jackson to later on in the season. I'll say this with Jackson Dart. We know what we're going to get from Russ. He's a 10-time Pro Bowler. I don't need to see Russ in preseason start one series and come out. Start Jackson Dart week 1 preseason with some of the other teams' ones on defense, or at least number 2s on defense, and see what Jackson Dart can do week 1 preseason. Get him the one versus the 1s and 2s on defense instead of the scout team. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
see that. If I see that in all through preseason, I'm gonna get upset.
Mm-hmm.
Start Jackson Dart. I don't need to see Jameis Winston against the 1s and 2s neither. He's done it. Let Jackson Dart go in there against the 1s and 2s in preseason, and then you can go from there if he's going to be your backup quarterback, if he's going to be your third string, or maybe even long shot that he starts because he might just come in and be the next coming of Peyton Manning. Who knows? You never know unless you see what you see what you got. But I do think you're going to see him. I don't think he's going to be babied in preseason. I think you're going to see him get a lot of action in preseason. So I'm excited to see it, and
That'll be fun.
we'll go from there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else for you, Paul?
I'm looking at my list. I think we've covered at this point all the so-called battles that we think are going to be fun to watch in training camp.
Yeah, I agree, and thanks guys for participating with that. We're at about the halfway point right there, Paul. We're at 30 minutes in. We want to take a short intermission break, you have something important that want to address, and I think rightfully so to do it now at the halfway point of our show.
All right, thanks, Kenny. So everybody, we uh, we always remember certain dates that are important to us. Obviously, birthdays, uh, anniversaries, spouses' birthdays, family birthdays, that kind of thing, holidays, all of that. Um, Today is July 21st. Today, 9 years ago, July 21st, 2016, I underwent 7 hour prostate cancer surgery. And needless to say, it's a date that'll remain and etched in my mind for the rest of my life because basically it saved my life. And fortunately, I was able to and my doctors and uh, doctor and the team that I used at the time caught it in time, and we were able to make sure I was healthy. And after a 9 month return, I was then able to come back. And since then, I've been 8 years cancer free. So I always remember July 21st as a significant date in my life. Um, I say to all the guys out there, especially those of you who are over 40, please go to the doctor. It's a simple test, it's a blood test that they take. You never know. It's the second leading cancer that men succumb to, unfortunately. And again, it's a very simple, easy test, a blood test, and you catch it in early enough stages, as they did with me at stage one, and here I am, healthy, and I'll live another at least 20 years or maybe longer. So I just want to say that to everybody out there. Um, do yourself a favor, your family, your wife, your kids, and it's nothing to be afraid of. And I certainly will recommend each and every one of you to do that and take care of yourself and stay healthy. Thanks, Kenny.
Thanks, Paul. I want to share some comments with you. Mark saying, "God bless Paul. Awesome to hear."
Thank you, Mark.
Patrick saying, "You need a Hawaiian vacation, Paul, my friend." And
That sounds
our
delicious.
yep. And our good friend Cody Wild saying, "Congratulations, you're a Super Bowl champ in my
Oh,
book,
thank
Paul."
you, Cody.
And then there's Michael Ronquillo in blue and white hearts saying, "Good evening, Kenny and
Oh,
Paul."
thank you, Michael.
What's up, Michael? Good to see you as always. Even coming in with the blue and white hearts tonight. I love it. Usually it's blue and orange, but he's got the blue and white for the Giants. Uh, you just coming on, checking up. You just got it in time for our second segment, Michael, and it's going to be R10. And I think we're going to do something for those Bronco fans that are out there. I think we're going to do something similar on Denver Bronco Roundup, which I'm part of on Tuesday nights. And this is Paul and this is mine and Paul's predictions on who we think the top 10 Giants are going to be this year. And you'll see where we're going with this. I'll start off, Paul, just to, number 10 for me is going to be a corner we brought in from the Saints in free agency. Very underrated player because of the Saints being a smaller market. You don't hear too much about him. But that's Paulson Adebo, who's going to take over as the number one corner for the Giants this year. I got him at number 10, and his stock can definitely rise, maybe be a top 5 player for the Giants this year if he is that true corner, true number one corner that the Giants signed him to be. We might get closer to those playoffs, Paul, and he might be a top 5 Giant before season's end. So there's my number 10,
Okay.
and we'll do these pretty. We'll do these. Not necessarily rapid fire, but we'll do these pretty quick. This way, we can get to our list in the 20 or so minutes we have left for the
Okay.
show. So you're number
My number
10,
10
Paul.
is a guy that no one expected to be on this Giants team, but the fact that they have Russell Wilson as quarterback, I think this guy is going to have a big year. And my number 10 is Darius Slayton. Uh, Russ throws that moon ball. Darius is one of the best uh, receivers going deep, and I think he's going to have a monster year behind Malik, and we'll get to him shortly. But Darius, I think, is going to show up as a big time player with Russ at quarterback. So he's my number 10 guy.
Let's piggyback and give me your number 9 too, so we could switch the order
All right.
back and forth
My
a
number
little bit.
9 is your guy that you just mentioned, Paulson Adebu. I agree everything that you said about him. I think he's going to come in and solidify that defense, take a lot of pressure off of Tay Banks, and make that Giant secondary, along with Holland, a really strong unit.
Yeah, I like it. Uh, I like Darius Slayton, Paul, at number 10. I think he can easily be there. Uh, but I'm going to go a different wide receiver at number 9, and that's Wandale Robinson, slot receiver. We don't have much depth behind him right now. We'll see if any free agents, anybody gets released if the Giants decide to bring in a veteran. But with our quarterback play last year, and that includes Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, and Tim Boyle, they targeted him 140 times last year. Now you got Russell Wilson, and I'm not saying Russell Wilson is Josh Allen these days, but Russell Wilson's a lot better, in my opinion, than those four quarterbacks mentioned. Wandale Robinson is going to have, I think, not saying a breakout year, but he's going to have a top 10 Giants year in my book. So I'm going Wandale Robinson at number 9.
Nice.
Let me get a comment here. This is coming from Twitch. Hesitation on Xbox. Thanks for joining. Not going to lie, Jackson Dart should start over Russ, in my opinion. Russ is getting older, and Dart looked really good at Ole Miss. Just me saying, though.
Thank you.
I like, hesitation. Thanks for joining. And we were saying, let Jackson Dart start preseason, and you never know. If he comes right in and does well in preseason games, I mean, with the starters, maybe he is the starter week 1. Shocks a lot of people in the media, shocks a lot of fans, and maybe never looks back. So we're going to see. And again, thank you for tuning in. And we're doing our top 10 right now, who we expect to be in 2025. Or I should say this season, 25-26. I'll go number 8,
Okay.
Paul, and we'll do it that way. Second year guy for me. I'm going back in the secondary. I think Tyler Nubin's going to have a monster year. He was, played every game last year. And, you got him year 2, and you got Javon Holland, who you brought in, who's arguably the top safety in free agency. With the Giants front 5, I think this kid's going to benefit from it, and I think he may emerge as a leader in the secondary for the near future and years to come. So high expectations for Tyler Nubin for me this year at number 8.
I like it. He was second on the team in tackles last year as a rookie. So, yeah,
Yeah.
clearly.
Let me just get one more comment. Cody was disagreeing with hesitation, friendly disagreement. Let Dart develop. Having him start week 1 could ruin him. We're going to see this. If he's, I'm more on the wait list too, Cody. But if he's ready week 1, you may have to go with him, like hesitation's saying. So we're going to see, and be fun to watch in preseason and training camp for sure.
All right.
But let's get your number 8 and number 7. We'll piggyback that
My
way.
number 8 is a
Two.
guy that took over in game 5 and didn't let the job go the rest of the year. Tyrone Tracy. They knew they had a player in him, and he turned into the player that the Giants thought he was going to be. And what a surprise, but not a surprise, because this kid really developed as a number 1 back. I think He solidified himself as a real workhorse, and I think now bringing in Scatterboo and having Singletary, I think they will work as a committee. But this kid has an opportunity to even maybe go over 1,000 yards this year. But uh, he brings a element to the offense, not just running, but obviously as a great receiver coming out of the backfield. So he's my number 8 pick.
I like that one, Paul. Before we get to number 7, I know hesitation was late coming in, and we did answer this, so I'll answer it again. He wants to know, could the Giants do what the Steelers did, switch mid-year between Russ and Justin Fields? No, and he's don't apologize. Hesitation. I know you're new. Our shows are interactive, so if you have any questions and comments, we definitely address them. We did answer this. Uh, we think if the Giants are out of it, they have a late bye this year. So the smart thing would be to bring Jackson Dart, in our opinions, after our bye, week 14. Let him play a couple games at the end of the season and go from there. So we could see a switch. And you agree, right,
Yeah,
Paul? I just want to make sure you didn't change your mind
yeah,
on that.
I
Yeah,
agree.
and again, don't hesitate to ask questions. We definitely appreciate them, and we interact with our audience. So, uh, but yeah, if you want to play along with top 10, anybody, please, and we'll read them out too. Cody loves Tyrone Tracy, just needs to work on the fumbling
Yeah,
issues.
yeah, and I'm sure they will
Yeah,
work.
so I like your number 8.
All right.
Yep.
So now, you'll see where I'm going with my next few picks, but my number 7 pick is a guy that I think is going to take advantage of having. You'll see where I'm going. Kayvon. I think he's going to have a big year. It's his 5th year. Uh, they picked up his 5th year option, but I think with the addition of Abdul Carter and some of the other players, I think this kid is going to really, really come into his own. So, uh, as I think it was Mark that mentioned the NASCAR package that the Giants had when they won their Super Bowls, I think he's going to add to that ability, and he's my 7th Giant this year so far.
And got a breaking. We always break when your lovely wife says hello, and she's saying happy second birthday, my love.
Oh, thank you, my love.
There you go.
Always so sweet to hear that.
Welcome, Luby. Always great to see you in our chat, Luby. Always great to see you. Uh, yeah, I like that one, Paul. Kayvon is not on my top 10, but that's maybe me being a fan of Kayvon and hoping, fires him up and he has a breakout season. So I got him on the outside right now. I do have our rookie, our third number 3 pick, Abdul Carter at number 7, because I didn't want to put a rookie up at in the top 5 or even higher. But he can easily be number 1 by the end of the season if he's everything I expect him to be. Uh, but when we talk about top 10 Giants, there's a lot of depth at that position, so I could just see them all having similar stats. So I'm gonna say importance, yes, he's top 5, top 3, but when it comes to uh, stats, I'm going to say he's going to be my number 7 here, and can't wait to see number 51 on the field. Uh, and I love, he's on the Eagles, so don't want to wish him too much luck, but I always liked Azeez Ojulari. Just had a lot of injury problems, so good to see another number 51 take
Mm-hmm.
over, and hopefully our, second coming of LT.
All
so,
right.
so
I,
come on, Abdul, be that
I
guy.
like it. I will have him on my list, of course, but a little higher. All right.
Oh, and I'll go number 6 because we're doing 2
Mm-hmm.
first. Bobby Okereke for me, number 6. We brought him in a couple years ago, tackling machine, captain of the defense. He's your middle linebacker alongside Micah McFadden. He's got to be the guy in the middle, and I think he's that guy we brought in from the Colts. I think you're going to see that second coming of him. He's going to benefit big time from this front 5. this pass rush that we got. NASCAR package, Mark called it. Our pass rush, our five guys rushing the quarterback. Bobby Okereke is gonna have a breakout season. I don't want to say breakout season. He's had over 100 tackles every year, but I think he's gonna have one of his better seasons. Maybe a sleeper at Pro Bowl. Bobby Okereke. He's gonna have that kind of year. I'm going number 6 with Bobby Okereke.
Okay.
Cody saying Abdul with Lawrence on paper will be very
Mm-hmm.
dangerous.
Definitely. Yeah.
So we'll do your 6 and
Yeah,
5.
just a comment. Yeah, he had an off year. I don't know if it was the change in the defensive scheme from Wink Martindale to Shane Bowen that affected him a little bit, but I certainly hope that he has a bounce back year this year. My number 6, another guy, part of that NASCAR package that we hope, Brian Burns. They brought him in. He had a somewhat decent year last year, but listen, this defense has been ranked top 3 defensive line, top 10 in some of the things that I've read so far, and I think this they did a lot to bring this kid in and signed him to a big contract, and I think the combination of him, Abdul Carter, Kayvon, obviously Dexter, they're gonna be a load for a lot of teams in the NFL this year. So my 6th pick is Brian Burns.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with any of the guys on the line. And we could have easily had all of them on there. So I absolutely love Brian Burns. I think he's going to have a very good year, and let's just say that. And along with the addition of Carter and Thibodeau and Dexter next to them, I think that's going to be very exciting for us Giants. As most of Giant fans who are older like us, Paul, preach defense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be fun to see what we think is going to be a true Giants defense this year.
Yep. And so my number 5 is Abdul Carter. I think maybe we'll have another a new three amigos between him, Brian Burns, and Kayvon. Not to steal the thunder from the three amigos of the old Broncos team, but uh, number 5, Abdul Carter, I think is going to have an impact on all these guys. Like you said, the Giant defense, we always relied on our defense to win games for us, and I think this kid's going to have a big impact. Right now, I would say he's in my opinion, the leading guy for defensive rookie of the year, and I think the Giants are going to put him in many different opportunities to succeed throughout the whole defense.
Love it. Yep, love it. And I had him at number 7, and like easily, jump in my boards if we're doing a weekly one. By week 3, he could be in up to like number 3 for me. That's how fast I think he could rise. My number 5, Paul, Russell Wilson. I think when I look at everybody might laugh, but hear me out. I think this could be the best offense he's had since he's been with Seattle. He's got Tyrone Tracy, who's going to be your receiving back. He's going to love the checkdowns to Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy converted receiver to running back. He's going to love that. He's got Malik Neighbors. Last year he had George Pickens, who had drop issues. That was his number 1 wide receiver in Pittsburgh. Now he gets Malik Neighbors, who's he's predicted by ESPN to be number 7. He's the number 7 wide receiver on ESPN's board already in year 2. Russell Wilson's going to make Malik Neighbors top 5 in my opinion. Darius Slayton, you nailed it. Moonballs. There's his Tyler Lockett. He's got Jalen Hyatt. He's got other guys. He's got Wan'Dale Robinson in the slot. Russell Wilson's going to succeed in this offense. And I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl or even the playoffs, but Russell Wilson's going to succeed and be very important on this team. He's going to have very good numbers, solid each week. He's going to be very important to this Giants team. Number 5, definitely could start the whole season. If he does start the whole season, he may be your number one Giant this year. That's how high I am on Russell
Yep.
Wilson.
I have Russ on my list. We'll get to him in a little bit on my list, but my number four, my number five, wait, my,
Your four, oh my, I got to go
oh,
four, and
okay, go
then
ahead.
we'll go to your
Yeah.
four. My four is a guy you had a little earlier. It's Tyrone Tracy. I just mentioned, you know, uh, Russ is going to love him. Tyrone Tracy is going to love Russell Wilson. He's going to get a lot of chances to. He's going to get the first chance, in my opinion, to be the starting running back, but he's also going to be the third down back because of his receiving skills. And those receiving skills with Russell Wilson's going to know how to use Tyrone Tracy, and he's going to look for Tyrone Tracy when the receivers aren't open or he needs a check down. Tyrone Tracy's going to succeed this year and have even better numbers than he did last year. Like I think it was Cody saying earlier, needs to work on the fumbling issues. Yes, but if he does, I could see him being the number 4 Giant on this Giants team this year.
Okay, nice, nice. We both had him on our top 10. My number four could be the key player on the whole offense aside from Russ, and that's Andrew Thomas at left tackle. Clearly, he's got to stay healthy. When he's healthy, arguably he's one of the top 3 offensive tackles in the NFL. But you guys have heard me say this, the best ability is availability. And when he's not in there protecting the blind side, what good is he? So Andrew Thomas has got to stay healthy, has got to give the Giants at least 15, 16 games this year in order to solidify and make that offensive line a cohesive unit, especially as I mentioned earlier, Russ isn't as nimble and mobile as he used to be. So Andrew Thomas at number
Yeah,
4.
I love it. He's got to stay healthy, like you said, but he is the anchor of our offensive line. We want to get to the, compete for a wild card. Andrew Thomas has got to stay healthy. It's that simple. And if he stays healthy, we have a shot. If he doesn't, it's going to be a long season.
Yep.
So that's how important he is. I love that ranking. I have him on my list coming up too. But before we get to our top 3, let's say hello to Keith Brugman, who's chiming in.
Keith.
Uh, Keith's on a little getaway right now with his wife, his lovely wife, and then he's going to Denver Bronco training
Nice.
camp. So, looking forward to seeing some pictures and maybe some videos of that. He has a question. He wants to know what Russ gives to the Giants that Dart does not, and vice versa, Paul.
Well, clearly you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, a winning quarterback, a guy who's been in the league as long as Russ has, the experience, the confidence, the winning mentality that hopefully he'll bring to the New York Football Giant organization. Obviously, Dart being a rookie, no matter how much confidence he has coming out of college, we all know the NFL is a lot different than college football. I don't care how good you are. I always use the example. As great as Peyton Manning was his rookie year, through 26 interceptions, you can look it up. So that's the big difference between Russ versus Dart. But obviously, Dart has that God given talent. And let's hope that at some point that comes out and he leads the New York Giants.
Yeah, and you just said, and with Dart and vice versa, I'll say Dart brings that, obviously younger, more maybe stronger arm, to the team, and brings maybe becomes the captain of this class in the Giants for the future. So that's what Dart would bring right now. Some younger legs and stuff like that. So, but Russ, let's hope we get vintage Russ for this season, and then we can hopefully have Jackson Dart for the next 10 plus. So, top 3,
Yeah.
Paul. We're at the top 3. We're doing good on time, so I think we can get through these in the time frame, and we can continue.
Okay.
So, who cracks your top
All right.
3?
I'm looking at both of our lists, and I think we have the same number 3. So let's face it, like you just mentioned, this guy is going to be a superstar if he's not there already. And the Giants are very lucky to have him. Malik Neighbors is my number three. With Russ throwing him the ball, it's possible he may be right up there with JJ and Jamar Chase and all those guys. So and Lamb. So uh, this kid, let's hope he stays healthy. He's going to be a big player for the Giants. I love the fact that he's a dog. He wants to win. He wants to improve, and the fact that having Russ this year, I think, is going to make him even better, and he's going to get to that next level of receiver. So Malik Neighbors is my number three Giant.
Yeah, and like we've been saying, Russ is not you know top five quarterback in the NFL, but compared to what we had last year, he is top five quarterback. So we had Daniel Jones, Tim Boyle, Tommy DeVito, and Drew
Yeah.
Lock throwing him the ball, and the numbers he put up, and was hurt a little bit
Hmm.
too. I'm looking for Russ to use him the proper way, and I'm looking for big things from him as well. And he's also my number three this year, and could easily be number one, but with Russ spreading the ball out, that's why I got him at number three. I think they think the ball will be spread out a little bit because Neighbors will get some double teams, and I think Neighbors will take advantage, or Russ will take advantage of Neighbors' ability, and I think we could see double-digit touchdowns from Malik Neighbors and Pro Bowl in the future for him as well. Uh, my number that was my number three. I'll do number
Hmm.
two, and then we'll get your two, and then we'll do our number ones. My number two is guy you just mentioned at number four, and that's Andrew Thomas. Uh, I think Andrew Thomas is due to have a year where he's healthy. And if he is healthy, he's going to be very important for this Giants team. And he's going to be one of the biggest reasons we would contend for a playoff spot. And we just said it earlier. And when you said Andrew Thomas is going to be the anchor, the left tackle, blocking the blind side. You lose Andrew Thomas, a Pro Bowler, you're going to have a long season. Andrew Thomas stays healthy, you're going to compete. So Andrew Thomas, easy number two for me on my list. Again, anybody in this top three can be number one.
Hmm.
So Andrew Thomas can easily be number one for me as well.
My number two, we've talked about him all night. Uh, hey, it starts with the quarterback. It starts with the veteran leadership. My number two is Russell Wilson, the quarterback. It's front and center of the team. This team is made up more of defense, I think, but he is the steady captain. He's the guy, especially with you look at the rest of the Giants, especially on offense. You have a young running back. You have a young receiving core. You have a young tight end. So you bring in a veteran leader, quarterback that there's nothing that he has not seen before in his career. And I think that having him as that leader of this team is going to be so important. And the Giants will be in games that maybe a year or two ago they would have absolutely no way to win a game. So Russell Wilson at quarterback is my number two.
Love it. I'm gonna let you go number one because it's we both have the same guy. Get the
Okay.
first words in with him. I know you're gonna
Thank
nail it,
you.
and then I'll just add 2 cents.
Okay. Yeah, we both have this guy, arguably, one of the top 10 players in the league. I'm not exaggerating, I think, when I say that, but clearly the best defensive player on our team, and the best thing I could say about Dexter Lawrence is he could probably start on some of those great Giant defenses in the '80s and early 2000s with the type of defenses that they've had. That's how good a player this guy is, and Dexter Lawrence can do it all. He maybe like I mentioned, Chris Jones earlier. He might be the best interior uh, pass rusher in the league who's going. I think he said his career high 9.5 sacks last year, and probably would have had close to 15 if he hadn't been injured. So Dexter Lawrence, without a doubt, the defense is going to lead the Giants team this year, and he's our number one player on defense. And
We
we're ecstatic that we have him.
Yep, and like I said, you nailed it. I'll just add 2 cents. We talked about all the Giants on defense that are going to take advantage of, the additions of Abdul Carter, Javon Holland, and Paulson Adebu. Dexter Lawrence is going to take advantage of this as well. My bold prediction will be Dexter Lawrence will have better numbers and become the best defensive tackle. Because you can argue that Chris Jones is one and Dexter Lawrence two. There's going to be no doubt that Dexter Lawrence takes over that number one role this year. That's my bold prediction because he's going to take advantage of this defense. Real quick, Paul, we do have 2 sleepers. I'll go first on the offensive side, and then I'll let you go first on the defensive side.
Okay.
My offensive sleeper is going to be Theo Johnson. We talk about Russ spreading the ball out. Theo Johnson, I think he's going to benefit from a good quarterback as well and get some with his size. Mark Calderio, our good friend, Big Ten guy, wanted him last year, and we got him. And he said this guy's going to be good. He could stay healthy. He's got nice size. I think Russ is going to use him, and he may be a nice red zone target for the Giants as well. I think Theo Johnson can be a sleeper to make the top 10 this year.
Okay, great.
Who's your
Do you want me to
offensive
do
guy? Yeah, we'll do
offense?
your offensive guy, and then we'll go to your defensive guy.
Okay. A guy that he put on a lot of weight in a good way, a lot of muscle weight, and came back bigger and stronger. And a guy that we loved when the Giants traded up and drafted him 2 years ago. And now with Russell Wilson, we're hoping that this guy could finally blossom into the receiver that we hope that he is, because again, you can't teach speed, and we hope my hope is Jalen Hyatt comes into his own and is utilized a lot more, because you know NFL is all about speed, and you have a guy throwing moon balls and having a guy like Jalen Hyatt running under it. That's a good bet that's going to succeed. So my sleeper on offense is going to be Jalen Hyatt this year.
I like that. He needs to step up. It's now or never for.
Agree. I think Kenny froze for a second. You froze for a second, Kenny. Uh, let me go into my sleeper on defense. And not that he's a sleeper, he's been around, and he's certainly been a starter. But Micah McFadden, I think, is going to be able to utilize a lot of the players that the Giants have brought in this year, and he's going to be all over the place. And I think he's going to be a guy that he's going to be sort of the anchor, maybe like the Gary Reasons, so to speak, of the Giant defense. That stout linebacker that just continues to make plays after play. So he would be my sleeper on defense this year, Micah McFadden.
I love it, Paul. I love. Sorry, I did lose connection for a second there, but I do like that Gary Reasons comparison. I like that a lot. And to wrap it up, my guy, my sleeper on defense is Tay Banks. He's now CB2. He struggled last year at CB1. They bring in Paulson Adebu to be the cornerback one. Now Tay Banks doesn't have that pressure. So now he's covering the team's number 2 wide receivers as opposed to the team's number 1 wide receivers. Tay Banks may have a nice, solid year and may get back into that top 10 and be that CB1 that we drafted a couple years ago. I picked when we took him in the first round. Maybe be that first round pick that we were expecting you to be, and get out of that sophomore slump that you had last year.
Mm-hmm.
So,
nice.
Anybody else you want to mention, Paul, before we wrap it up?
Not tonight. Certainly, as the training camp goes on, like we mentioned earlier in the show, Everybody reports tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot of things coming out over the next few days, next few weeks. So we'll have a lot to discuss as training camp gets into the preseason games.
Yes, and we are most likely going to have a schedule change next week. It looks like right now, and we'll make an announcement on the K&K Sports Show Facebook page. Looks like right now we're going to be on next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll make an announcement on Sunday to let you all know what the schedule change is next week, and that's just for next week. We will be back on Mondays going forward, but next week it'll be a Thursday night show. So, Paul, final thoughts, and
Yeah,
we'll say our goodbyes.
exciting that the NFL is starting up again for our New York Football Giants. Always great to be with you, my friend, my brother, and thanks everybody in the audience tonight. Great questions, great comments. Always a pleasure to be here for you. We appreciate each and every one of you.
And just like Paul said, I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you, everybody. Looking at some names: Keith, of course, Luby, Cody, Hesitation on Twitch. Nice to see somebody on Twitch coming over. Appreciate you. Mark, of course, Michael Ronquillo, our good friend Patrick out there in Hawaii, Eddie Murphy, Kurt, Carson, Ernie, bunch of people saying hello early in the show. We appreciate you all. Uh, and training camp's here, and we will see everybody next week. Have a good week, everybody. Enjoy the start of training camp.
Good night.
Have a good night.